And we're back here at the University of Southern Mississippi at, well, the Rock is just outside here as we're getting ready for the 2016 football season here for the Golden Eagles. And we continue to meet our coaches. And today we're visiting with the linebacker coach and the defensive coordinator for the Golden Eagles, Tony Pecoraro. And Tony, talk a little bit about your background. Everybody not yet that familiar with you, but give us a quick synopsis of where you've been and how you wound up here at Southern Miss.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm excited to be here and excited to be, part of this tradition here. But, I started actually as a student assistant back in the day at Florida State, worked for Coach Bowden. From there, I actually got my master's degree at a small NAIA school in Florida. It was called Weber International. Got my first full-time job there. I was actually D-line coach at that time and recruiting coordinator. Had the opportunity to go back to Florida State as a graduate assistant, working for Coach Andrews. I did that, and Coach Amato. I did that in 2007, 8, and 9. Then I actually had the opportunity to go work for Terry Bowden at North Alabama, and that was actually my first time to be a defensive coordinator. So I had the opportunity to go work for him for 2 years, and then after that, I linked up with Coach Hopson, and that was a blessing for sure. Had the opportunity to go work for Coach Hop at Alcorn State for 4 years. And then when he had the opportunity to come here, I was blessed to have this opportunity to come with him.
What was the connection there? How did you cross paths with Coach Hobson? And you were there with 4 years for him as a defensive coordinator. How did that connection become between you and him?
We didn't know each other prior to. We had some mutual friends. And, Coach got the job late. And, he was looking for a defensive coordinator. And I had a friend of mine text me. He said, "Hey, look, I have a good friend looking for a coach. Are you interested?" And I said, "Of course I'm interested." So I flew down. It was an intense interview, especially with Coach Hop being a defensive guy, and everything worked out from there.
Of course, you guys had a great deal of success at Alcorn State. What was the key, at least from the defensive standpoint, of sort of getting that turned around and getting you guys to where you were playing for championships?
Just getting the kids to believe in what you're preaching and what you're teaching, and get them to play hard. And it's always great to have, for me, working on the defensive side of the football, and Coach Hop being a defensive background and coach, it's always great to have somebody to go to.
And I know you probably are familiar with Southern Miss. When you think of Southern Miss, and I'm sure you've crossed paths with coaches and things like that, you've seen Southern Miss on TV and things like that before. When you think of Southern Miss football, particularly on the defensive side of the football, what do you think about?
Two things. One is just great defense and a nasty bunch. I think it's really, in college football today, I think there's such a craze about offenses. But when you think Southern Miss, that's one of the few schools, and I tell this to recruits all the time, it's one of the few schools that when you talk Southern Miss, you think of defense. And me being a defensive coordinator, I'm proud to be part of that.
Coach Hobson was a defensive coordinator here at Southern Miss. Have you had conversations with him about the tradition of Southern Miss defense? Has he talked about that a lot?
Oh yeah, he does all the time. He's definitely a historian. And like you said, he's part of it. So he just didn't know the history of it. He was part of the history here, especially when they were, top in the conference in defense. So he speaks about it all the time. He actually speaks to us as a staff. He teaches, to players. He teaches everybody about it.
What about your philosophy? I'm sure it's similar to Coach Hobson's, but when we see one of your football teams, one of your defenses out there, what do we expect to see?
A team that's going to play hard, they're going to play physical, play fast, and play aggressive. And, they're going to be definitely taught up well and make sure that they understand all what's going on that week. But at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. A team that's going to play physical, play fast, and be very aggressive.
Only been here, I guess, 4 months. It was kind of quick. You got here in February. All of a sudden, there's spring football practice. Now you're getting ready for the season here in just a couple of months. When you look at the guys you have inherited here defensively, what do you like? What you see out of those guys?
I think the thing that I love about them, to be honest with you, is they'll all roll up their sleeves and go to work. And I think that they're all still feel like there's a lot to be proven. So I've been blessed coming into this situation. I still sense a lot of hunger, and now it's just making sure everybody is going in the right direction.
It'll be a defense. You got a lot of guys back from last year's defense that played for the Conference USA Championship, but now you got to mix in some young guys too. That's always kind of a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, especially for the young guys learning a new system. Even for the old guys, really, it's going to be new for them too. And but everybody's taking pretty well to the change. I think they're really excited about it. They're working hard through spring, through summer, and we're excited about the season.
When you got done with spring football practice, were you able to? Did you think you'd accomplished what you wanted to there? Maybe you're never satisfied totally that you've gotten in everything you want to do, but did you feel pretty good about things at the end of the spring?
Yeah, I did. Like you said, you're never really fully satisfied. There's always something that you can do better. There's always something that you need to kind of clean up. But I thought that they handled the scheme pretty well, and I thought we definitely made some strides in spring.
When you guys, and you've gone through the summer workouts now, but then in about a month or so, it'll be time for the real practices to start to get ready for the season. When you guys get back on the field in August, where's a lot of the attention go there as you start to get ready for the season opener?
To be honest with you, it goes back to day one, installing the defense from the start again, making sure everybody gets cleaned up on a couple techniques, or maybe catches on a little bit more on the scheme itself. And then as camp progresses, then you'll start to worry a little bit more about Kentucky. But right now, it's all about us. So just making sure that we're ready to go by game one.
I know on the offensive side with Coach Dawson, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people probably won't notice a lot of things different from maybe what they did offensively a year ago. What about on defense? Well, if people watch the defense this year, what kind of changes, if any, will you see?
I don't know. They're going to have to tell me that at the end of the year. I watched a little bit of them for sure prior to, but I really just focused on us, to be honest with you. So hopefully we're a brand of defense that they're proud of at the end of the day. That's what we're aiming for.
Every defense has got to have some leaders. Who are you counting on amongst some of those upperclassmen to be leaders on this defense?
I think Elijah and CJ in the linebacker core definitely. Two guys that are looked at as leaders, and Dylan Bradley is a guy who's played a lot of football here, a lot of experience. Big year for him. In the back end, I think Picasso Nelson. He's a vocal leader for us as well. Those are Devontae Foster. I think another one is going to be some guys that I think we got some good leaders, to be honest with you, on this team. Now it's making sure everybody's going the right way.
I know Coach Hopson always talks about when he was here defensively, Southern Miss, well, even on offense, always a team that sort of played with that chip on their shoulder and, kind of like you're the underdog all the time. And that's sort of been a pretty good philosophy for Southern Miss over the years.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. You just got to prove that you're just as good as everybody else, and I think that's that chip on the shoulder, going to work every day, knowing that you still got a lot to prove.
This is a team, too, that came that close maybe to winning the conference championship a year ago. I would think, that's you take them one game at a time, but obviously that's the goal. You want to be good enough to be in position at the end of the year to try to win a championship.
There's no doubt. I mean, that's definitely something we're talking about. But like you said, it's one game at a time, and, just worry about the present.
What are you looking forward to the most? You're here at Southern Miss now and, on Coach Hobson's staff. What are you looking forward to about the upcoming football season?
I'm just excited to get to work with the guys, actually, go back full time with them on the field, getting back into practice, getting excited, and preparation for each game. I love all that stuff. So I'm just ready to get back to work, to be honest with you.
All right, well, Tony, thanks for giving us some time and visiting with us. Great to have you here at Southern Miss and part of the Golden Eagle family and a part of Coach Hobson's coaching staff. Looking forward to a great 2016 season. So best of luck, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Tony Pecoraro. He is the defensive coordinator, the linebacker coach for the Golden Eagles, one of the new members on Coach Jay Hobson's coaching staff here at Southern Miss. We continue to meet our 2016 coaching staff, so stay tuned. We'll be back with more in just a bit.